size of Washington, D.C., and according to Christian belief, Jesus himself walked on water here. It's called the Sea of Galilee, but it's not exactly a sea. It's more like a lake, a freshwater lake, but not just any freshwater lake. It's the lowest freshwater lake in the world and the second lowest lake in the world after the Dead Sea. Here are 7 things you didn't know about the Sea of Galilee. So Israelis call the Sea of Galilee the Kinneret, which in Hebrew sounds like violin. Why do we call it this? Well, if you look at it from above, its shape resembles that of a violin. It's a romantic thought, but not quite accurate. The name Kinneret is an ancient name and is found inscribed on archaeological remains 3,500 years old. There weren't drones or even maps in those days, so they didn't really know what the lake looked like from a bird's eye view. The reason behind the name is very simple. It's named after the ancient city Kinneret that flanked the lake to the northwest during the early Canaanite period through to the Persian period. This place in the valley of Kinnerot, next to the Kinneret Lake, witnessed some of the most crucial events in history. From the outset of the development of mankind, the creation of agriculture, wars between ancient Israel, Greece, and Rome, the tales of Jesus and his disciples. The Jerusalem Talmud was composed here alongside the prospering and flourishing of Jewish life across hundreds of years through to the outset of cooperative settlement in Israel. So, if you manage to get your hands on the DeLorean from Back to the Future, activate it here. You won't be disappointed. For 500 years, Tiberias has been one of the most important centers of life for the Jewish people in the land of Israel. Today, the city that was established in the 20th century, named after the Caesar of Tiberias, is an important center of tourism for its close proximity to the Kinneret and also for its holiness in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. The graves of the righteous, including Rabbi Meir, Miracle Receiver, and the Rambam, draw thousands of believers every year, much like the Holy St. Peter's Church and the Sea Mosque, which in the past was used for prayer by the city's Muslim fishermen. The promenade, which extends across all the city's beaches, provides one of the most romantic views in Israel. Do yourselves a favor and try to wake up early one day to see the mesmerizing sunrise above the lake's waters from one of the balconies of the Lakeshore hotels. To the south of the Kinneret, where the Jordan River departs from the lake, the first Hebrew kibbutz was established in 1910. A unique settlement wherein work and life is shared amongst everyone, and each member of the kibbutz works to the best of his abilities and in return receives everything he needs. A Zionist startup in every way, which influenced Israeli society right up to today. Tiganya is the mother of all kibbutzes, a stellar example of human social pioneering. Here at the Sea of Galilee is where Jesus lived, worked, and most importantly, performed many miracles, gathering his first disciples. This boat is called the Boat of Jesus. When 2 brothers were exploring at the beach here at Kibbutz Genosar, they found an old nail and decided to dig deeper. That's how they found this boat, which was built from 12 kinds of trees in the 1st century. Even though there's no proof that Jesus himself sailed in the boat, you must admit that it's pretty moving. Here on the Mount of Beatitudes, where the Church of Beatitudes is located, overlooking the blue waters of the Kinneret, Jesus issued the call to live in modesty and non-violence in his famous Sermon on the Hill. This is just a small taste of some of the sites that constitute the pilgrimage path for millions of Christians. One of the world's greatest pleasures is hot springs, bubbling with salts and minerals with vapors that curl within from the heat of the water. In the parks of Hamat Tiberias flow 17 hot springs filled with minerals. This site sits on a Dead Sea Rift, which is part of the Great Rift Valley. The Roman spring in Hamat Tiberias, which sustained the ancient bathhouse here, began flowing up onto the ground at a temperature of 60 degrees, years after it had stopped. From the moment you step into the fields of the national park, you'll be able to see vapors rising up from the ground in many places. I'd stay here longer, but we have to move on to the last fact. You said Kinneret, you said amazing beaches. 29 beaches with breathtaking views surround the Kinneret, and because there are so many around the lake, which is relatively small, there's a beach for every purpose. So after the rainy season, when the Kinneret is full, all you need to do is choose. These were 7 facts you didn't know about the Kinneret. If you care, share.